Welcome to Deal Talk. I'm Jeffrey Veit. We're going to talk about avoiding dealer tricks and buying smart, just like we always do. So you do the right stuff when you purchase a car, truck, motorcycle, boat, motorhome, any of that stuff. Anyway, that's what we're going to talk about today like we do all the time. Not a single email or question or call this week. I can't believe that's odd. I've never had a week where I didn't hear from somebody, but I didn't hear from anybody this last week. I did find one question from a couple of weeks ago, and I, of course, answered it. I just didn't bring it up on the show. I don't bring up all the emails and phone calls on the show. I bring up the ones that apply or make sense to bring up for subject. But I didn't bring this one up, but it's something worth talking about because I don't talk about it very much. But the person, other than the niceties that I normally go through, the person wrote, "Deal Talk, my husband and I are budgeting for a new SUV. One thing we haven't heard you talk about is extended warranties. What do you suggest?" Pretty simple question. That may be why I didn't bring it up. It wasn't anything super hard about it. And I have talked about extended warranties before, but not in a while, but a couple of different times I think I have brought it up. But a couple of weeks ago, we talked about liability collision insurance. And there are all kinds of insurance policies you might have, like gap insurance if you purchase without a down payment or added in a payoff from an old trade-in value. But another insurance you might like to have is an extended warranty, because that's really what it is. You'll have one that comes with a vehicle. It's a great benefit because it eliminates the need to worry or look at things other than the normal maintenance. Normally, an extended warranty, when you buy the vehicle, doesn't cover tires or brakes because those are made to wear out. They're supposed to wear. But the rest of it's covered, so you don't get any surprises. But what about extending the warranty? That would be their question, I guess. Is getting one a good idea or not? Are they worth the extra $900 or $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever? They've gotten pretty doggone expensive. I think in a lot of cases they're more than that. The cost-benefit ratio on average is hard to gauge, but whether it's worth thinking about it or not at all is the real question. There are some basic rules and questions that help you make a good choice in a situation like this. One question you might bring up to yourself is, am I keeping the unit after the warranty is up? Maybe you're thinking 70% leaning towards not keeping it, and only, there might be a chance you'd keep it, but generally you're not gonna, right? Or you might think 50-50. Both is possible. If no, or any chance less than 40% that you'll keep it, then definitely you shouldn't buy the extended warranty. It'll not help the trade-in value one lick. It makes the vehicle a little more desirable, maybe, if you sold it yourself, right? But other than that, it doesn't add anything to the warranty. You don't see anything in the book saying that. Can I buy it later after I see the vehicle performs well? It might be better to wait and see a warranty, if a warranty addition is worth the trouble. Usually you can wait until the end of the factory warranty. But to add an extended warranty after that point won't be as elaborate and it wouldn't cover as much. It still covered the big stuff, engine, tranny, the really expensive stuff. And most of us to buy an extended warranty aren't looking for a free lunch. We're just looking to have some coverage on the big stuff in case something happened, because occasionally things do, right? Another question would be, is the cost of coverage and a deductible more than a total repair would be? Does it take 2 repairs to see any benefit from the warranty? And what I mean by that, I know it sounds silly, but that's something to think about. The price of the warranty added to the deductible on your first repair is your initial investment. So let's say the warranty costs you $1,500 and your deductible is $500. That means you're paying the first $2,000 of an initial repair. And then if you had another repair, you will have paid $2,500 towards the first 2 repairs. I know, but that's what it comes to. If no, or any chance less than 40%, like I said, you don't want to go with the warranty. It won't add to the trade-in value, like I said. And you can buy it after the sale. If you decide to keep it, you change your mind, you could buy an extended warranty. If you wait and buy just before the end of the factory warranty, you'll get a better warranty than if you wait till it runs out. But when you have to figure that cost in there because it makes a difference. It does. There's no question about it. It still might be a big help But if you're purchasing one of the better brands with much better repair records, it's not such a big gamble then. No, because you're going to pay the first couple thousand of the first repair anyway. And these, the expensive repairs and the good brands that we're talking about, let's say they had one repair come up. Are they going to have two? I don't think so, So if you're asking to tell you what I would do, I'm not going to suggest whether you buy a warranty or not, but I wouldn't buy one because I always buy the better brands, Toyota, Honda, Subaru, Mazda. If I stuck to those, I might have a repair come up. You might have something go wrong that was expensive, but the cost of the warranty is expensive too and the deductible. So really you're at a wash after the first repair, about a break even. And it's not going to add to the resale anyway. Now I lease, so I never buy an extended warranty for that reason. But with the vehicles I've kept, like when I purchased my lease at the end of this one, I didn't buy an extended warranty. No, it wouldn't make any sense of what the warranty would cost me. I could pay that first repair. It's not going to break twice. I mean, knock on wood, but it would be rare if it did. It would be an unusual case. In fact, here are a couple rules to follow when you're going to buy something like this. When you're thinking about it. Only buy the warranty from the manufacturer. Never buy a warranty on a new or used vehicle that's not from the maker of the vehicle. So if you're buying a Honda used, buy the Honda used vehicle warranty, or a Ford, or whatever it is. I don't care what it is. There are many outside warranty companies. Some of those outside companies are used at dealerships. You want to be sure the dealership is selling you the factory warranty, because sometimes they'll try to sell you a different one because they make more money on it. They're only looking at the normal greed in business. If an outside company is your only choice, you can't buy from the manufacturer even if you went to another store, then maybe if it's an older vehicle, buying from another outfit like that would be okay. But you got to remember that when it comes to buying from companies that aren't through the manufacturer, you're not their customer in their head. And their head, the dealer's their customer. You're just a statistic. And they don't care about you as much as keeping the dealer happy. That's how it works. Make sure the factory extended warranty is transferable. In the case you sell, many are not. The 100,000-mile warranty on a Kia is only good to the original purchaser. That's an example. There's others. Be sure that you can do that. Confirm the deductible. It can be huge. Make sure of what the deductible is going to be. How much of the first repair do you pay? Get everything in writing. No assumed coverages or costs. Everything has to be in writing, period. That's not flexible on that. That's just the way it is. Recently, a premier automaker of electric vehicles, Tesla, cut their used vehicle warranties to 1 year from 2 to 4 years. And the new vehicle warranty it's shortened too. There can only be a few reasons for that. Repair costs or quality issues. I mean, you could say, well, it's a cost issue. Well, that's the repair cost. That's what I'm saying. They're looking to make more money. No, they're not looking to make more money. They're looking to avoid what happens to electric vehicles as they get older. They're not what they're supposed to be, what we're all led to believe they are. They're not, period. And I know a lot of people think that they know more about it, and they're fine. If you want to buy one, you go ahead. But I just thought that was interesting. Even they did, right? So electrics are expensive, and they require specialized techs to fix them, so you got to find someone that could even fix it. Extended warranty prices are affected by resale value as well, right? The extended warranty is a little more affordable on the units with good resale because they don't break as often. That's what I'm saying. You can buy an extended warranty, let's say on a Honda or a Toyota or one of those, for less than you could buy for the same coverage than you could buy from some of the other brands because they don't break down. They have really good reputations. And that, again, is why they have good resale. We went over that a few weeks ago in an episode about resale value. That's where resale value comes from. Track record. If you know you're keeping your vehicle past the warranty period and you drive average miles, then you probably should buy the warranty. If you know for sure. If you know for sure you're going to keep it after the warranty's up, well, then buy the extended warranty. It's probably a good investment. If you're a short-term lease, trade about the same time as the warranty ends, then you don't need an extended warranty. Don't even consider it. It's not going to help you one lick. Some dealers will tell you, oh, buy the warranty. It'll make the vehicle worth more if you have an extended warranty to transfer. But I say not really. It's more like mag wheels or a spoiler on the trunk. It makes it more appealing, and it makes it so that, somebody might consider it more in that case, but it's not going to really make a difference in the value of it. As far as trade value, you'll notice that the extended warranty does not add in the book, so it's not going to certainly add anything to your trade. They might tell you whatever they want to tell you to get you that warranty to begin with, but that's not what's the real skinny on the deal. That's not what's happening. They want to sell you an extended warranty, and they won't mention the current warranty, most likely. So that's why they don't mark it up or add more for the value, because F&I departments don't make any money if you keep the extended warranty that was on the vehicle when they took it to trade. They won't even tell you about it. They'll try to sell you one. They want to sell a warranty. They don't want to give it away, even though it should, because it's part of the vehicle at that point. They don't have to. A used vehicle under the original warranty is okay because they add to it, but the most part, they are not going to add to your trade value because of warranty, regardless of what they might tell you. It's not. On a new vehicle warranty, that covers at least the first 3 years. That's included with a new vehicle. Now, on the used, you probably will get a 30-day or 60-day, 90-day, and they'll say, we'll give you 90 days or 4,000 miles, whichever comes first. They usually give some coverage even on a used vehicle, but always buy from the manufacturer if it's possible. That's the key. If you're going to buy the extended warranty, you think it's a good investment, buy it from the manufacturer. They have more skin in the game. Believe me, I don't care that you bought it used. They're going to take a lot better care of you than an outside company. I know you see the ads on TV by a couple of companies. That is so not true after the fact. When you get it after the fact, you're like, oh, geez, isn't that something? I thought it'd be good based on the ad. I'm telling you. You're not their customer. The dealer's the customer, and the ones that on TV, they're expensive, and you're just better off buying from the factory. Now, if you couldn't buy a warranty anywhere, well, then maybe. But I don't think that's the case. That's not going to come up unless it's a really old vehicle. And then there's other considerations. You got to remember, you got the price of the warranty and your deductible that takes up the first repair. If you've got a really good brand and you've done a good job of buying a used vehicle, it's not quite so much. You know how that used vehicle was used before you got it, and probably a good idea to think about that. Check the Better Business Bureau and the Consumer Report and Yelp for a particular manufacturer to see if they're good. But you got to remember, the best warranty of all is the ones you never use. Look over the vehicle you're buying thoroughly, if it's a used vehicle or a new vehicle. But a used vehicle primarily is what I'm talking about now. Follow all the checks and balances. Know what you're buying. That's huge. Try to stick to the lines with the best resale value, because the resale is high for a reason. It's not a chance thing. An extended warranty isn't going to make the quality of your vehicle any better. It helps repair your vehicle when it breaks in many cases, but even its coverage is limited. Even when you buy an extended warranty, you'll notice that it's a limited coverage. Remember, you have the cost of the extended warranty, and you have to cover the cost of the deductible. So that's what you paid for that warranty and deductible is like the first repair. So it's a wash. If it breaks, they got to remember that's if it breaks. A lot of cars don't break on covered problems. They have problems with things like, with things like brakes and shocks and tires, all the things that are supposed to, unless you had an alternator go once. You had one problem. Well, it wouldn't be worth it then. One problem. You got to have a problem vehicle to really justify it, in my opinion. Try to stick to those lines with the best resale value. An extended warranty is going to make things better, if you got in a jam, but what are the chances of that? They just don't really add value. The second repair, then they start adding value. But even on the second repair, you got to pay the deductible. So if it's $500 deductible, $2,000 repair, you'd had to pay $1,500. And they pay $1,500 for you, but you've also paid, at that point, $2,500 to get it. So the point is, what we're getting at here, additional warranty is an after-the-sale question. And unless you know you're going to keep the vehicle, in my opinion, I wouldn't get one. So anyway, that is the question that I got during the week that I had to dig up, an old question, because I didn't get any during the week, actually. And unfortunately, I don't know what that means. Nobody listened or nobody had any questions, but that's okay. It's just that I get a lot of my ideas from you folks that are listeners, and so it's always good to get a question or something passed through. And there's been so much in the news about electric vehicles that we've already gone over. So with us, I can't keep riding the same wave, you know what I mean? When you're way ahead of the game, if you've been listening to the podcast, you're way ahead of the game. They're just trying to push these electric vehicles because the manufacturer is all in. So BMW and Lexus are going to talk about them because they got all this money invested. Whether they believe in them or not, they got to sell them. They already built them, you know what I mean? And it's crazy what they want for these things. It's just ridiculous to be able to drive 250 miles. I'm taking a trip here shortly, and I won't have a podcast for a couple of weeks. And I'm going to drive because I want to take all my tools and stuff and all the things I have to my daughter's new house. And it's a 1,500-mile trip. Now I want to do this in 2 days, right? I'm going to drive all day, sleep, then drive all day, and I should be there. What about there? If I had an electric vehicle, I would have to take a week to go there, right? Think about that. It's just all the things. If you watch the news, there's stuff on the news you can watch for. There was a bus that caught on fire in, where was that? I believe it was in, I'm trying to remember. I don't really remember for sure. I think it was Chicago, anyway. And it looked like a jet engine blowing fire out of it. I mean, it was unbelievable from this fire from this electric vehicle. And on YouTube, there's been tons of firemen on there having talks about how dangerous these are. I mean, you take 8,000 gallons of water to put out an electric fire and a battery on a vehicle. They don't carry 8,000 gallons in those trucks, right? Some I suppose do. You'd have to drain the whole truck, and that not necessarily put it out. You know, you can look at all these things historically that have happened, and it's been pretty scary. But anyway, if you like the podcast, please take a couple of minutes and do a review in whatever podcast source you use for the podcast. And you've already done a review. I always appreciate it very, very much. I really do. It helps me out. Tell everybody you know about the podcast. You'll be a hero. They'll save some money, and they'll think how smart you are for telling them about it. Listeners, if you want some written material to carry with you when you're out shopping, then get a copy of The Informed Buyer from Amazon Kindle or Barnes & Noble Nook. You know, some of you have been listening because you've been buying them, but they're only $3. And it's not like I'm making any money from that, so that's not why I talk about it. I talk about it because it's just great notes. It's just little reminders in there. One little reminder could make you think, wait a second, what is it? Did I check that? And that type of thing. It could save you a lot of money or a hassle. After the fact, you're buying a used car, you didn't check something, and all of a sudden you remember, and then it's too late. Once you bought it, that's the end of that. So, and it hasn't changed in price. Inflation has not affected. Nope. The Informed Buyer is still $3. Moving right along, there are a few other after-sale items I'll talk about today. It seems like a good day because we're talking about the extended warranty, which you can really buy up until the end of the factory warranty. And because you may not end up needing it, you may needs have changed. There's all these things that there's no point in buying a warranty for, but it seems an opportune time to talk about other things. Once you drive off the lot and your new car, truck, motorcycle, or used car, truck, or motorcycle, it'll feel like it's back to work and business as usual. Fact is, not yet, not quite yet. There are things you should do to be safe and confirm what just happened. Because when you're buying, I don't know about you, but when I buy something, it's pretty tense in my head. And I've got things going on, and when I get away, I can think clearly again. And, oh, I forgot to mention that, or this or that. And I have a few things come up. So you watch out for that. And that's what I'm talking about. So whether you buy a truck, a motorcycle, or motorhome, doesn't make any difference what it is. You need to do a few things before the party begins, right? Just to be on the safe side. Number one, make sure that you got what you thought you bought. A good idea to check before you leave the dealership. But if not there, check at home as soon as you get home. Check the factory label serial number against the number on the vehicle. Does the Mononi label match the vehicle? Did you get the right vehicle? Because if your rolling label says it should have been $20,000 and the serial number on the one you have is a $19,000 car, that means you got beat out of $1,000. You got to check for that stuff. Look at the list of options. Is it what you thought you got? Number 2, physically check the vehicle for damage. Walk around it while you're there. A jack, a spare, make sure they're there, and any attached accessories, floor mats. Believe me, this stuff could be missing just by accident. It's not like they're trying to steal it, but during a dealership, one guy's delivering a vehicle and there's no mats in it. Parts department's closed. He runs it down to some other vehicle, takes them out of that vehicle, and gives them to his customer. Well, they never get replaced. Sometimes it gets forgotten, right? Same thing with a jack or spare tire. Those things can happen. In fact, they do happen. No question about it, right? It's like the dents. A lot of times they'll get a dent when it's in the wash bay. They're not going to tell you about it unless you see it. No, that's unfortunately, some people would tell you, but most aren't. Call your insurance company. You need to be sure that the vehicle is listed with the right coverage. A dealer will tell you, yeah, we got insurance. Your insurance is transferred. They don't have to call the insurance company to transfer your insurance. If you have active insurance, when they transfer your plates, it transfers your insurance. So they may not have talked to them. You don't know that there's the right coverage. It may need something different for the vehicle you purchased. You should have already called them once before to make sure your rates weren't going up, so you've already contacted them one time. Put it out in your tax files about how much you paid for the vehicle. Usually that's additionally deductible. It may not be now under the new tax rules, but I'm not sure if they change from year to year, so have a note of that because tax on a motor vehicle is always going to be on top of any other deductible tax. Next is the little work you need to do. Read the owner's manual within the first 2 days of ownership. If you have a hybrid or a full EV, know the distance between charges and deduct 15% from what the accessory you use and adjustments. So if they tell you it's got 300-mile range, no, figure on 250. I'm telling you, it's never going to go that distance. Nope, they never do. Know all the charging points all around your area before you travel. So find out where the charging stations are in your city. You might even have a little map in your car because they're not going to be like gas stations, Nope, they're not. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get a charge than it is to get gas. No question about it. Your book will also give you a maintenance schedule as well. You can invest a lot of money and you need to know how to protect it. It's very common for a dealer to get callbacks about how things work on the vehicle or where they're located. It's pretty common because people don't read it and you can't go over every word, everything on the vehicle on delivery. You can get pretty close to the main stuff, but the stuff that comes up is always something later. Like I remember I made a call on my vehicle because in the dash, you could check the pressure in every tire. And I forgot how to get to it. I had to get some help. That's when I first bought it. I never had that before. But if it's a used vehicle, call the dealer you bought from and ask them for an owner's manual if you didn't get one. ASAP. Right after you buy it, they'll get it to you. Buy it, you call them later, you got to pay for it. If it's an individual, call them and ask them if they forgot to give it to you. They might be able to look for it and find it. For most makes, there's a factory website where you can download a copy of the manual. I'm not sure how far many years back it goes back, but you can usually do that. So you can get a downloaded version, right? That's better than no extended warranty. And they're not going to charge you for it. That's something they normally do for free, so that's not going to come up. I'm not sure how far back they go, like I said, but, quite a ways, I would have to guess. If you purchased a used product, there are a few other things to talk about. If it's from an individual, clean the vehicle inside completely. Who knows what's in the seats and the carpets? You don't know. Not so important for dealer because they detailed it already. But when you buy from an individual, take the time to clean it the day you get it. Just self-awareness, that's all. Peace of mind. Also, if you're from an individual, change the fluids. Yep, the fluid. If from a dealer, you should not need to change the fluids. It should be part of the get ready, but if they don't look new, then you should. Walk around the vehicle and recheck it for dents and flaws. It's easier to get the dealership's help when the sale is fresh. Yeah, when it's been a couple of days, you're not going to get any help. That's just the way it is. If you didn't have a mechanic check the vehicle out prior to purchase, do it immediately. I assume if it's from an individual, you had it checked prior to purchase always, because they're not going to do anything after the sale. They don't have to legally. Once you've paid them, you're done. There's nothing you can bring up. So in an individual, you got to get it done before the sale 100% of the time. On a dealer, sometimes you can get an agreement written on the buyer's order that says if my tech checks it out and finds something wrong, you'll take care of it. You always want to do that. New or used vehicle, register your tires with the manufacturer. I don't care whether you got a new one or used one. That locks in the warranty and also ensures the fact you'll get a notice if there's a recall. This is more important than you might think. Tires could cost you your life. So stay on top of it. They're really the single, probably the most important thing on the vehicle is the tires, because you use those every day, all the time you're driving it. If you didn't get Scotch Guard from the dealer or purchase from an individual, buy some fabric guard or leather guard and Scotch Guard and do it yourself. It has a huge effect on the resale value. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that you can ignore, but when it comes back to haunt you, you'll say, oh, geez, I should have done it, right? I should have, would have, could have, ought to. No, paint seal the vehicle or pay for it to have it done. Paint sealant's just too important. Scotch Guard the seats. Always. Even I'm talking about used cars too, because there's trade-ins on used cars. People think, I bought a used car, so I don't need to do it. Yeah, you do, because there's 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old vehicles getting sold every day for $4,000 or $5,000. No reason why that can't be yours. Doesn't have to be junk at the end of use. Nope, doesn't have to be. It's the same thing with paint sealant. Yep, do it right away. And, in a dealership, paint sealant, you can usually get them down to about $150, and then you can have them do it. But you can buy a bottle of paint sealant, I think, for a kit for $29, $25 down at the parts store and do it yourself. That's what I usually do myself. I didn't on this last one because they gave me such a deal on it. But if it wasn't for that, I'd do it myself. I don't mind doing it. If your vehicle doesn't have mud flaps, a.k.a. splash guards behind the wheels, that's how you protect the paint on the rear wheel wells. That's kind of important. That's another resale issue. Resale, all these things I'm talking about isn't for you to make you feel better about the vehicle. It's so that it's still in good shape for 3, 4, 5 years from now, or at least better shape than it would have been, and you'll get more for it on a trade-in, and that's where resale value comes from. It's not like resale value is free. You get it no matter what. No. You take better care of the vehicle, you get better resale value, and it can be dramatic. 2 trade-ins, same vehicle, can vary by $3,000, $4,000. I'm not kidding. It can have, especially if it's a late model. Now, in an older car, you're talking about maybe on 8, 9 years old, you're talking about whether they'll take it and trade it all or not. That comes up. Sometimes they won't take your trade. They'll say, nah, that's junk. We can't take that. You can't do anything with it. You do something with it. Consider buying mud flaps or putting them on yourself. Another one is get these things ASAP. Paint sealant, Scotch Guard, mud flaps, all that stuff. ASAP. That's why I said you read the owner's manual in the first 2 days. Period. You have to do it. It's too important not to. Very, very important. First aid kit. Obvious reasons. You're hurt or someone else is hurt. Carry first aid kit in your vehicle. Emergency flares. Have them in your vehicle. You never know when you're getting a situation where you have to stop alongside the road. Flat tire. You ever tried to change a tire on a major highway like I-95 or I-4 or, any of the major routes? Scary. You got to pull way off. Well, you need those flags and flares. Now, you don't necessarily need flares for changing the tire, but you ought to have those triangular things that you put up, and they stand up like a tent, and both ends of the vehicle, and they draw people's attention so they don't run into you. Good idea. Emergency flares, if you've had an accident, it's a good idea. Always have a toolkit. Pliers, screwdrivers, the basics in a toolkit in the trunk. You got to have that. You never know when you'll need it. I also put towels in the trunk. You got a wet or rainy pool, or a million reasons why that could happen. Protects the interior. Just worth having. Safety reflectors for emergency. Like I said, that's like the emergency flares. They're like little triangle things. I forget what they call those things. But they look like little, 12 by 12 triangle. Red, bright, reflective, right? Jumper cables in case your battery or someone else's battery is dead. Have those in your trunk. I have a little bag you can buy from. I think I bought it from AAA. And it's got all that stuff in it, the basics, bandages and stuff. And it had jumper cables in it and some basic stuff, Know where the police stations are in your area and all the hospitals. Why do you want to know where the police stations are? In case someone gets road rage. Head to the police station if you're suffering from some person that's in road rage. If you're hurt, you got to know where the hospital is. Yeah, that's important. Put a tile beacon or an air tag, Apple AirTag or a tile beacon somewhere in your vehicle just in case both of you are stolen. Or just a car, whichever. Have it in there, hidden in there. Only you know where it is. Don't be the wish I had person. Spend a couple of bucks and get these things I talked about. We're not talking about a lot of money here. It's small beans here on a major investment. If you did not receive a maintenance booklet with the vehicle, in new vehicles you do, but a lot of times in used vehicles you don't, set up a file to keep track and put it in the glove box. All you want is a card to remind when you did your last oil change, your last service. Put the mileage and the date on that card so you'll know about it. Even if you don't follow the schedule in the owner's manual, you need to know when you did it. You'll know if you're due for one or not. If you lease a vehicle for 36 months or less, you could forget about waxing or Scotch Guard or maintenance card stuff. You don't need any of that stuff if you're just going to lease and turn it in. You don't need them. I do it on all my vehicles because I sell mine at the end. This is the first year this time where they changed the rule where you can't trade it in. This is the first time I didn't trade mine in towards something else. And I'm not gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but the Attorney General, that's a good thing to bring up. The Attorney General has contacted me. They are working on a case. They are working on stuff. Manufacturers are gonna wish that they hadn't done this because it could be fines for every customer that's turned in a lease. I figure it cost me $5,000-$6,000. And they've got all the evidence from me now, and they'll get it from other people. And when the manufacturers pay, they're going to pay thousands and thousands of people thousands and thousands of dollars because what they did was just underhanded, just terrible. They changed the policy on whether you could sell your vehicle or trade your vehicle with another manufacturer that you had leased. And that was and dealers have been doing it as the accepted way for so many years. They could say, well, in our writing, it says we have the right. Yeah, but they did it the other way for 14 years, which is enough implication that that's not the case. They wouldn't stand up in court. So anyway, you put that in the glove box, the scheduled maintenance manual, right? You keep track of stuff. If you got a leased vehicle, you don't worry about any of this stuff, unless you're like me. You still need to read the manual even if you're leasing now. You still need to call your insurance even if you're leasing. Get this stuff for your trunk, first aid kits, even if you're leasing. You can always move it to the next lease. Another possibility is you find out that another dealer had a better deal. That's something that happens after the fact. I thought that's worth talking about today because sometimes that comes up. People buy a vehicle and all of a sudden somebody calls you and they're like, hey, we could have done better, this and that. Of course, dealers are going to tell you that whether they could have or not because they just want you to think about them next time, and it's a spite thing, right, where they want to convince you that you should have purchased from them, right? Don't pay any attention to that. What you do, if you say they got a better deal, you just hang up and you call the dealer you bought from if it's in the first few days, right? Within a few days, you call the dealer up and you say, hi, I didn't talk to the general manager of the dealer, and you get on the phone and you say, look, I was in there 2 days ago and bought a vehicle, and I love it. It's a great car. But the fellow that I bought from, and the manager told me that I wouldn't find a better deal. This is the best deal is to be found. So I bought it. Well, I've been offered a better deal since then by such and such a dealership. You can give them the name. And I'm disappointed and upset about it. And see what they say. And if he doesn't say anything, then say to him, I'm calling because I'd like to know what you're going to do about it. And then don't talk. He who speaks first loses. Don't. I'll guarantee you'll get something out of them. You'll get your first service. You'll get something. They'll try to make it right with you to some degree. No question about it. Because your happiness is really important to them, especially to the dealer. Under the law, you can return the vehicle within 3 days, but that's a hassle. And you got the tax and all that stuff and your old vehicle and the plates and the stickers and all kinds of stuff. It's just you don't want to do that. So if you do this, it will make up the difference. Call the owner or the general manager. That's who you call. They're the ones that have the authority. You ask them what they're going to do about it, I'll guarantee you. They'll come up with something. It may not be too much, but it's better than nothing. It's better than a sharp stick in the eye, right? The reason that people don't have that happen to them more often is because people don't bother doing it. And I say that you should. What's it hurt? If you don't ASK, you don't GET. That's the way it is. But once you ask them, what are you going to do about it? Then hold your lips together tightly. Let them talk. I guarantee you get something. The consumer is always in control to some effect. Always. You just can't lose track of that. Even after your purchase, you're still in control. Nothing's changed. Well, that's Deal Talk this week. If you have a question or a request or even a comment, please call, text, or email me. I hope we get more this week. That would be good. Callers or text is 407-801-4071. That's 407-801-4071. Or email me at dealtalk@mail.com. That's dealtalk@mail.com. Please don't forget to do a review and do yourself a favor by getting a copy of The Informed Buyer from Amazon and Nook. The best $3 you'll ever spend. It could end up saving you thousands. Want to be a hero? Tell your friends and family like we talked about. Let them know about the podcast. And believe me, they'll thank you. It never fails to happen. And remember, every payment you get should be CPI. If you're talking monthly payments on your purchase, you want the complete payment information. Just the payment doesn't help you. You need to know how much was the amount you figured the payment on. How many months are you figuring it for? What's the interest rate? Any required down payment to get to those terms? You need to know that. And if you're going to do your own financing and just go in and pay cash to the dealership in that respect, well, then you need to know the OTD. You need to know every single cost in buying a vehicle. Tax, the plates, the dealer fee, and aftermarket options, every single thing. You want to know the total out the door.